The fact that our politicians call CO2 carbon pollution is actually insane levels of propaganda and misinformation, because CO2 is a naturally occurring part of our atmosphere that before we started burning fossil fuels, it was 0.02% of our atmosphere, and or also known as like 200 ppm, right? And if CO2 gets below 150 ppm, life on Earth stops because plants can no longer perform photosynthesis. So this idea that CO2 is a pollution, are you kidding me? Like, it's actually the building block of life. Like, we are carbon-based life, and CO2, the C in the CO2 stands for carbon. So there's a beautiful carbon cycle. Like, we all learned this in biology, but like, we all forget because we've been propagandized to fear CO2. And I don't know about you, but I spent years, every time I would fill up my car with gas, like, it would give me anxiety, and like, I would think about the CO2 leaving the exhaust pipe of my car, and like, it caused me like pain, which is so insane. Like, the fact that like my younger self spent energy and mental like distress worrying about CO2, now I realize is such a disservice. And that's why I make all my content, because there's so much misinformation. You know, you watch one documentary in high school, whatever it may be, Gasland, Inconvenient Truth, like Before the Flood, like we know the ones. You watch one documentary, and then you walk around with the rest of your life fearing CO2 when it's a building block of life and it is not something to fear. No one in the climate movement talks about global greening, and if they do, you get dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, and they're like, so what? And I'm like, I think that global greening is a big deal. So because we've released so much CO2 into the atmosphere over the past 150 years, we've doubled it from 0.02% of the atmosphere to 0.04%. We have seen plants thrive, because what do plants love to eat and take in through their stomata on their leaves, like we learned in biology class? CO2. So we've essentially doubled the food for plants in the atmosphere in the last 150 years. And this is not just like some small thing. Global greening is now increased by 15 to 25, even 50% across the globe. And no one talks about this in the climate movement. I did not know about this at all. And I think when I first came across this information while I was still entrenched in the climate ideology, it was like a third rail thing, like, ooh, global greening. But don't talk about that. Like, it's a side effect that's good. Like, what? Like, why? We need to look at climate change not as this wholly like negative world-ending thing. We have to take the whole picture. That's my frustration, because in the end of the day, we have this amazing technology in the form of fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, that power 80% of our lives, our modern lives, and we vilify it into the ground, even though it's leading to a really great side effect, global greening. Like, it's called CO2 fertilization, and like what a climate activists and speakers call it, carbon pollution. Frustrates me so much.